We've been closely tracking the saga with Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend's swollen balls, which has actually been very revealing in terms of how people responded to it. So she puts out this tweet that's like sort of at least pro-vaccine hesitant, right? Fox News seizes on it. Tucker Carlson loves it. I think he even had Candace Owens on to talk about it, right? MSNBC, they're outraged. Joy Reid is going off about how terrible Nicki Minaj is, etc. Nicki says something mildly praiseful of Tucker Carlson.
No, just tweeted a video of him. That's it.
Yeah,
just tweeted
that had like a bullseye target on it.
Yeah,
like exactly. He nailed it. Mm-hmm. Then Hassan Piker comes in and is like, well, you know he's a white nationalist. Then Nicki is like, oh, so now we can't even talk to someone or say anything about people in the other party. Then she also said she was invited to the White House. Apparently she wasn't. That's where things stand today. But I do think it was kind of revealing because it just turned instantly into this full national sectarian partisan food fight in the silliest possible way. I was wondering what your thoughts were on this very important and vital subject.
Swollen balls, go.
Well, I think that here's me on swollen balls. Firstly, I can't take swollen balls seriously unless they're attached to my body. And then I would take them a lot more seriously. Or I suppose if they were immediately in my environment, then I would take them seriously as well. If they were perhaps in the forefront of my visual field. But in a sense, it kind of just exposes that what we're participating in is a circus. Nicki Minaj is an entertainer and she's as entitled to her opinions as anybody else. And each side tries to mobilize this sort of cultural object of a tweet according to its argument. I saw in my country, like the Prime Minister and our dude that's like Chris Whitty, he's like the head of that setup. You know, they were like, oh, you know, being all sort of serious about it. And Boris Johnson, well, I don't know who Nicki Minaj is and doing all that kind of stuff. You know, and I feel like, you know, they're trying to advance their arguments like, oh, look, you know, they are taking the gamble that the people that they're speaking to will have certain prejudices and opinions about Nicki Minaj or more likely someone like Nicki Minaj. So they're using it as a weapon to say, oh, look at the kind of people that oppose our way of thinking. They're like hip hop stars and stuff, you know, and then the other side, you know, or another side uses it to sort of exemplarize sort of free speech. And in a way, where is the integrity? And by integrity, I mean sort of interconnectivity of a whole set of ideas. Where is the sort of dignity? Certainly it's not down the trousers of Nicki Minaj's cousin's mate, nor the potential bride that I believe has reneged on the ceremony, possibly because of the swollen gonads, which once upon a time would have been great celebration for nuptials. What kind of crazy world is it that we're living in when an almighty pair of swollen balls doesn't send bride and groom alike swinging down the aisle in merry unison?
I don't know how to make this transition
Didn't think about
smooth.
that angle, but
yeah, really. I don't know how to make this transition smooth, Russell, so I'm just going to dive right into the deep end here. I want to know, because, okay, I'll start with my personal story. So when I graduated college, I went to work in the car dealership. I was a car salesman, and long story short, even though I never would have admitted it at the time, I was miserable. And so I was popping all sorts of pills in sight. I would pop some Adderall, pop some Percocet. I drink these drinks called Four Loko, you know, while at work, and those have been pulled from the shelves because they're so dangerous. It's basically like crack cocaine in a can. So that's
Delicious.
the life. Exactly. It really was. So that's the life I was leading. But as soon as I ended up leaving that eventually, actually put 100% everything I had, put my all into what I do now, and just really took a shot in the dark. Hey, maybe this will take off, maybe it won't, but I want to do political commentary. I had always done it as a hobby. And I found personally that to the extent that you could call what I had addiction, I don't know if I'd really accept that label, but maybe I was on the borderline of it. The thing that really got me back on track is to have purpose and to have meaning and to get out of bed in the morning and feel like what I did mattered. And so that would be sort of the layman's advice I have for anybody who's struggling right now in terms of how to get out of addiction. I know you've suffered from addiction in your life. What would you say to somebody who's listening, who's going through some struggles right now? What would you say is the best thing to do in order to get out of addiction?